Am Echad Lev Echad, one people, one heart. When one of us is attacked, we all bleed. Our community is broken. Jewish community is broken. But we stand together as we need to ensure terror does not win. Terrorism does not win. Terrorists don't win. I wanted to begin by acknowledging the Premier, the Opposition Leader, all of my colleagues that have reached out to both the members of Box Hill and I and expressed their good wishes at this really, really tough time. I wanted to acknowledge many of those that are in the chamber today, and I'm going to do it now before I get into the details, so I've got a clear head. But if I could recognise the member for McNamara as well, Josh Burns, the member for Box Hill, my fellow convener of the Victorian Parliamentary Friends of Israel, CSG, which have done an amazing job just keeping the community here in Melbourne safe, the Zionist Federation of Australia, the Jewish Community Council of Victoria, Zionism Victoria, Australia-Israel, Jewish Affairs Council, JNF, UIA, Australian Union of Jewish Students, Australian Zionist Youth Council, Abayit, which has done an amazing job for Israelis that are living here, Rabbinical Council of Victoria, Union for Progressive Judaism, Hamakaz, the broader Jewish community. I know I've missed some, but everybody here stands united. Tuesday the 7th of October will never be the same. It'll be a date that we will never ever forget. September 11 is effectively a date that we don't forget, and the 7th of October is the Jewish community's September 11. We've heard what Hamas did at 6:30 when sirens were sounded near the Gaza border, areas like Sderot, where a lot of kibbutzes would hear those sirens thinking it was rocket fire. Go into safe rooms thinking more rockets were going to be shelled on their homes, not knowing the horrific things that were going to confront each and every one of them, because it was something that simply we never ever thought was possible. Many have said, what's changed? What's changed in terms of Hamas? Why now? Nothing's changed. Hamas, as many have said, are an evil regime. Their doctrine is to kill Jews, annihilate Jews, no matter who you are, no matter what your background. That's what they are. Unfortunately, Israel was asleep when this happened, and now Israel is woken. And the Israeli government must do whatever it can to protect itself. It has an obligation to protect itself, just like we would have an obligation if we had a similar attack happen here in Australia. So any questioning about what is happening now, I just say, this is a terrorist attack. We have 199 hostages that are still being held by those terrorists. We must call on the whole world, no matter who they are, to bring those hostages home. They must come home. We need them home. No negotiation, no terms, just bring babies, children, women, bring them home. When Hamas killed those 260 people at the music festival and went into kibbutzim, they didn't distinguish between whether you're a sympathiser, a non-sympathiser, whether you're a woman, a child, who you were, religious, not religious. They just, if you're a Jew, you were killed. You were raped, you were murdered, you were taken hostage, you were killed. Karen, who is here today, whose family was in one of those kibbutz Kfar Aza, where by miracle her family was saved, but hundreds were attacked. 40 we know of killed, with 16 hours of her family having to hide in that room, waiting for the soldiers to come and save them. They're just two familiar stories. That kibbutz spent a lifetime working with Palestinians, working together across the border to ensure they worked on ways to support them with agriculture, with health. The former mayor of that area, Mayor Ophir, he's dead. He dedicated a decade of his life to work hand in hand for peace. The irony of all of this is those people in the kibbutzim that were targeted were the very people that were living there to work with peace. Their whole life was about peace. And the first thing that these murderers did was target the very people that support peace. So there is no question about what we're talking about today. It's about terrorism. And it's about a group, Hamas, that use Palestinians, innocent Palestinians, as human shields. Innocent Palestinians that have also been murdered. We all value human life. And that is why this motion is so important, because it's about valuing human life. It's a difference between one lot of people and another lot of people, like the Premier has eloquently said. Israelis value human life. Hamas takes human life. Hamas has one doctrine: to kill, to destroy, to do whatever it can to oppress people for one aim. They don't use the money that they get from the world to feed people, to keep them healthy. They use them to build tunnels, the concrete. They take water pipes and they use them as rockets. That's what Hamas does. That's why Israel needs to do what it has to do. This is not about Israel. This is not about the Jewish community. This is about all of us. It's about the freedoms that we all absolutely cherish. President Biden so eloquently said, this is an attack on all of us. And that's why we've got to stay strong. The member for Box Hill and others have said the flow-on effect for what we've seen in this horrible war being portrayed here in Australia, only 24 hours after we saw people supporting Hamas, saying horrific words of "gas the Jews." We remember this horror movie. We remember it from the Holocaust. It's happening again. We saw the Nazis, which were parading up and down a train, trying to identify Jews. Someone pulls out a blue and white handkerchief and they're asked if they're Jewish. That's not the Australia I know. That's not what we need. And I join with the Premier in bringing those laws as quickly as we can to hold those people to account, to take off their masks, these gutless cowards, to take off their balaclavas and put handcuffs on them, to lock them up. Because at the moment, we see so many people that have been targeted innocently in fear. The Jewish community in Melbourne has been in fear. We mentioned about the rally which the Premier and the opposition leader spoke at. I had so many calls, as did others. Strong Jews that have been, people actually were former IDF soldiers ringing and saying, is it safe to attend? We've got principals in having edicts saying don't wear school uniforms in fear of being attacked on the way to and from school. Kids staying away from school. That's not what we need right now. And my message to everybody, knowing the work that Victoria Police does, that the Jewish community are safe, we will be safe, and people need to go about their lives. Because no matter who you are, no matter what religion you practice, no matter where you come from, we are as one. We are as one. The Nazis tried to separate people off according to their race. And as the Holocaust Museum uses as part of everything they do, there is only one race, and that is the human race. Don't let people try to divide and conquer. Don't let Hamas try and target and say, you're a Jew, you're killed. No, we stand together with the Palestinians, with the Jews, with the Muslims, with the Christians, with whoever you are, as one race, to overcome evil. There are two things that I want to finish with. Firstly, with a letter which I want to read from Rochelle Budensky, who's in the gallery today, who is a 14-year-old girl from Beth Rivka, a Beth Rivka student, and I want to give this from her eyes. This is a war that has gotten to a point where it's not about Israel, it's about the Jews, all Jews of the world, which neo-Nazis are wanting to wipe out. The Holocaust was meant to be never again. Wake up. It's happening right before our eyes. History repeats itself. As an Australian Jew who has no genetic connection to Israel or the war, it's wanted dead by the people protesting about the war. No, these people have been wanting for this moment to spread their baseless hatred towards the Jews when neutral people are gullible enough to believe them. My heart goes out to all the innocent brothers and sisters in Israel, and I'm praying for their survival. However, I, as a Jew in Australia, as long as the rest of the 8 million Jews not living in Israel are targeted with overwhelming amounts of hate towards us and our religion, DMs being sent to me about my race. Who are the people being racist and inhumane? Not us, it's them. But am I proud to be a Jew, even after all of these events? 100%. I will be supporting my brothers and sisters until the day I die, even though the times are rough and it's easy just to shut your eyes onto this blatant anti-Semitism. We must not let them get the best of us. We are strong, we have won before, and we will again. Am Israel Chai. And finally, my colleague and good friend Josh Burns, who has been wonderful in supporting the community, as we know, during this time, in his conclusion, used words which I'm going to use as well, and very proudly to wear my yarmulke today, to identify as being Jewish, as we should all Jews should not be afraid to hide during these times. And a mourner's Kaddish, which you say when you lost a loved one, these are the words that you say, which is all about peace. Oseh shalom b'mamav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Israel, v'imru amen. Let there be peace. Shalom.